Have a good day which brings knowledge to brighten your future. Let's learn object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming was introduced as a new concept of programming which was based on objects and classes. In 1962, first object-oriented language, Simula, was introduced as a simulation language. Then Smalltalk language was developed in early 1970s. It contained many object-oriented features. Then C++, Java, PHP, C Sharp, VB.NET and Ruby languages were also developed. In object-oriented programming, we don't write program code from beginning to end. Here we have classes and objects and we write code for object events. This is called event-driven programming. After writing code for all the object events, we combine all of them as a single program. This is called bottom-up programming approach. Object-oriented programming languages have a GUI so that the developer can first design the user interface easily using drag and drop options and then write code on the code behind. This has made the object-oriented languages more user-friendly. Without writing the program code from top to bottom, object-oriented programming introduced a new style of writing code, reducing the line of code, introducing reusable components, increasing maintainability and more other advantages. For this, object-oriented programming uses some special concept to write programs. In programming, a class could be written by giving the class keyword followed by the class name. The block of code should be given between curly brackets. It defines the scope of the class. Opening curly bracket defines the beginning of the class and closing curly bracket defines the end of the class. Variables and their initialized values could be defined as properties or attributes. Actions that you want to perform should be given as a method. Method should be given with a meaningful name followed by opening and closing brackets. These brackets help us to easily identify the methods. You can have one or more methods in a single class. If you want to invoke those methods, there should be a main method in your class. A single class may have multiple normal methods but only one main method. Main method is given as public static void main followed by the brackets which contain string arguments. Class is like a template using which objects can be created. Using a single class, you can create any number of object instances. A class is a more general entity and it can have only its own attributes and behaviors. When an object is created using the class, it can have all the class's attributes and behaviors as well as its own attributes and behaviors. Therefore, object is more specific. If you want to execute any method in your class, first of all you should create an object of your class. Then using that object you can call the methods. Assume you have created a class to calculate and display an average of 3 marks. For this, first you should create a class and declare necessary variables and define a method to perform the calculation and to display the output on the screen. Then we should create an object of the class and call the relevant methods. This should be done by giving class name.method name. This should be done within the main method. That is, if you want to run methods that you wrote in the class, you should call them within the main method. Assume you have multiple classes and only one class contains the main method. And if you want to execute one of those normal methods in a particular class, you should create an object of that class within the class that contains the main method and then call the method with the object name. I hope you have got an idea on classes, objects and methods. Classes are reusable components. You can create multiple objects from a certain class. This supports code reuse. Since the class functionalities are written once, we can reduce the number of lines of code. Since classes are independent units, they can be easily managed. There are some other object-oriented principles included in object-oriented programming. We will discuss them in another video. So that's all for today. Stay safe and have a good time.